Hi, my name is Daniel Cal. This is my identification. So, in this presentation, I would like to address the questions posed by Sama's leadership team, which included the following. What growth pathways would best enable Sama to fulfill its vision of becoming the market leader in the life sciences clinical analytics space? Which growth pathways best fit with Sama's capabilities? And lastly, what are the risk and implementation challenges for each growth pathway, and how can they be mitigated? The goal of my presentation is to effectively communicate my findings and understanding within the case to anticipate the best future pathway for Sama Technologies. So, before we can address what pathway is best to becoming market leader, it's important to understand the factors that have led up to Sama's current market share. I believe one of the key contributions kind of realized was necessarily for survival of Sama was after the .com bust of 2001. In 2005, kind of identified the necessity of diversification. And between 2011 and 2015, Sama created the Fluid Analytics Engine, FAE, which created a core competency. Sama's FAE created operational economies of scope because it allowed the streamlining of the data points in varying industries. Quote, it would pre-build up to 70% of the functionality in the FAE backbone, end quote. The next 2 years influenced Kata to narrow Sama's business vertical into the life sciences industry. The key contribution for Sama's success was the identification of competitive advantage opportunities. Based on Porter's generic strategies, Kata and Sama's board members chose the life sciences industry due to the potential for competitive advantage from a differentiation focus. Customer feedback of clinical trials advocated for the necessity of change within the clinical development process department. The firm's decision to narrow the business vertical had significant payoff, resulting in a year-over-year growth rate in excess of 50% and projected growth on a similar trajectory. However, the evolution of technology threatened to level the playing field of what was once competitive advantage. So, the growth pathways options. Customer acquisition pathway would be the continuation of the current trajectory and is probably the current best fit pathway that aligns with Sama's capabilities. This pathway focuses on garnering more customers within the life sciences industry. Threat of new entrants in this industry are limited due to the high costing barrier to entry. Additionally, substitute firms with the ability to improve the clinical development process are in low supply. Although many large firms already have in-house development teams or system integrators, the case study mentioned that many of those firms had a tendency to overpromise and underdeliver. The lack of delivery, creates opportunity for clinical development firms within the life sciences industry to look for alternative means for its analytical data to be better handled, so that informed business decisions can be more quickly initiated. Risk in this pathway include large firm unwillingness to look at other analytics resources, improvement of technology that allows Sama's competitors to easily develop a similar LSAC product. But mitigation in this case of large firms are not looking for other means of analytics. Sama would then have to turn his efforts toward mid-level firms. If technology improved for competitors, Sama would be forced to consider a low-cost leadership business level strategy. Customer development would be the least best fit for Sama. This pathway involves selling more services just to current customers. The idea behind this pathway is that customers would purchase more services in other areas of operations. However, the biggest downside and risk for this pathway is that Sama would have to compete against competitors who already hold a competitive advantage in these other areas. They are highly focused and have solutions that would not work well with Sama's services offerings. The product development pathway holds the highest risk, but also potentially the most reward. The product development pathway is full of unknowns. It has unknown costs, benefits, and uses, but it has the potential to keep firms at the innovative forefront. Grandview Research estimated AI in the life sciences industry to reach 1.7 billion by 2023 and projected it to grow at a CAGR rate of 10.9% from 2024 to 2030. Investment into the study, development, and improvement pathway could provide the potential for Sama to position itself as a market leader for years to come. Now, applying the VRIO framework to the pathway's possibility, a valuable resource that would enable Sama to enhance competitive advantage would be either the customer acquisition pathway or the product development pathway. The product development pathway would be the most rare resource, only controlled by a small number of firms. The resource that would be most costly to imitate, causing other firms to face a cost disadvantage in getting into it, would be the product development pathway. And lastly, the question that arises when using this framework asks if Sama is organized in a way to maximize the utility of the resource. And according to the case study, Sama's AI research team is already making great strides in their discovery and trialing of new technologies. Now, in conclusion, my recommendation is that I believe the best course of action is through an investment into the unknown, also known as the product development pathway. Rather than charting a completely new course, I suggest that Sama board members vote to continue on the current trajectory while increasing investments into the AI research development team. If the overall goal is to fulfill the vision of becoming the market leader in the life sciences clinical analytics space, then being an innovation leader by testing the limits of what's capable with AI and blockchain developments can give Sama Technologies a competitive advantage years ahead of the competition, thus positioning Sama as a market leader for future innovation. Here are my resources, and thank you.